shut up, you listen to my monkey mouth. There's a companion when you got pun on the canoa route. Hopped in a portal and got in a fight, Elias knocked him out. Bow, Naruto fighting style. Bow, UFC he tapped out. Bow, we win, we get crowned. Monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth.
Them Portal Boys be podcasting. This is Joshua.
And this is Elias.
And on this episode, we're going to be covering Season 2, Episode 8 of Rick and Morty, entitled Interdimensional Cable 2, Tempting Fate. And this episode's a whole lot of fun.
Man, I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, anytime that we're doing the Interdimensional Cable episodes, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
because there's so many random things that come up.
And they definitely were, we're taking, taking all they could out of it by just pretty much mocking the first Interdimensional to Cable. So
yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, they were like, you don't understand why we even need to do a sequel. We pretty much nailed it the first time.
Yeah, they just
took the wind out of their own sails pretty proactively.
It's the best.
I love they set the bar low. And they're like, yeah, we already nailed it once.
We don't need to do it twice.
But the episode effectively starts with the family busting into an alien hospital. Yeah, Jerry's on a stretcher, vomiting and sick. Green
goo is coming out of all of those orifices, nose, eyes, yeah.
And Rick basically explains that if anybody gets any of that vomit in any of their orifices, they'll go into a murderous rage.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the best doctor in the galaxy, Dr. Glibglob, walks out and he's like, I'm Dr. Glibglob.
A super gentleman, just really sweet, I'm Dr. Glibglob. Just
immediately gets vomited in the face and starts having this meltdown, and Rick just shoots.
Yeah, he just
wastes no time at all.
And as this is going on, one of the best lines happens. He goes, "Hey, who keeps an amoeba in a pint of Cherry Garcia?" And Rick is just right there on top. I'm well, the second drawer is mine. So it's
technically, everything in the second drawer is mine.
And so it was, and like you said, it was the second big shout out to Ben and Jerry's.
They make good ice cream.
Yeah,
they make good ice cream.
Cherry Garcia is one of my favorites when it comes to them. But American Dream, can't beat it.
No, Half Baked.
Oh, so great,
so good. But so effectively, they wind up pushing Jerry into the hospital room, and the family goes to
she immediately throws Rick out because Rick is basically completely basically punts it and is not concerned at all. He's just basically talking about something non-important. I think he completely diverts the argument of him of whatever's going on. He deflects it to the point where she's basically just go sit in the lobby and
just
shut up.
Get on out of here. And so Rick, of course, just wedges a crystal into the fucking cable box. And now it's
the nurse, the one in the lobby, or the person in the lobby is basically what are you doing? And he's making things better. I'm just making it better. Leave me alone.
It's I don't know. We pretty much nailed it the first time. That's where they end with the I don't know. Pretty much nailed it the first time. But the skits that happen in Interdimensional Cable are just fantastic. Man versus car.
It literally gets just taken out. It's not even a fight. I think he hits the hood once.
He kind of grapples with it.
Yeah.
And then it just rolls over the top of him and just chews him up.
I just love the fact that since it's so improv and everything, they're literally laughing within the final cuts of everything. So you get whenever the arm.
Don't the cars always win?
Yeah, the arm just literally gets ripped off by the tire squealing on top of it, and these two are just laughing at each other, saying, doesn't the car always win? Yeah,
it's wonderful. And one of the guys' name is Dick Nose.
Dick Nose.
So the interdimensional cable episodes are kind of difficult to go over in the podcast because we're typically going over points in the story.
Yeah,
there aren't any points in the story.
It's just a hodge.
Shit.
Yeah, it's a hodgepodge of things that just aren't going to go anywhere in the editing floor. So it's we're gonna make, how do they build that, but with plumbuses, or there wasn't too. I don't think there was what is it called, where they went to the spider. Colin, or the Spider Earth. Wasn't,
that was recent.
Yeah, but there wasn't. I didn't see them in this one this time. Why can't I think of what they're called? The actual movie they went to go see.
Oh, the ball fondlers.
Yeah, the ball fondlers.
Yeah, there was no ball fondlers.
Yeah, there was no ball fondlers, which I out of the first one, I like Ball Founders so much, but I think the house hunting one is the one that just kind of slides under the radar, when they're literally like coming out with guns and they're house hunting to like catch a house and live in it.
I liked Windwolf.
Windwolf.
I never thought of the where and werewolf as who, what, when, where.
That was great. He just so we have them just kind of going through all the really interesting, the eye hole. And he goes, and he literally, it's almost like, do you know who the Noid is? I know you don't.
Yeah, I'm familiar with
Okay, so the Noid destroys pizza, so it's essentially the same thing, but him crush. And she calls it a cereal, but in no way do I see them adding milk to the eye holes.
I mean, even in the end, whenever Jerry finds Rick's eye holes, he's just eating them out of the box.
Yeah, he's just eating them out of the box. So I don't know, like, what your definition of a cereal is, but from what I've heard is it's a cereal.
Crunchies out of a box, I guess, is close enough.
But yeah, so he literally attacks anyone who eats it, and then, of course...
He, like, drops it from the ceiling out of a helicopter.
And, of course, like, Rick is like, he really attacks you if you eat his eye holes, but they're totally worth it.
They're fucking delicious, and it's worth it.
Yeah.
So we get... whenever Morty notices the lady with the shit on her face.
And she's like, is she, like, here because she's at the hospital, or is she here because she's an alien? And then she pours herself a cup of coffee, and he's just enthralled by this. Like,
yeah,
he
he's
just
like,
does
is that
not
how she looks, or is she here because of the shit on her face? Like, what is happening?
What is happening? And then she wakes up, right? She doesn't wake up, but she just like winds up on one of the television shows.
In an instant, is standing on top of a light pole.
Yeah,
and it's like, how did I get here? And I love that as the family is like talking about it.
Yeah,
the host of the show is looking through the TV at them. He's like literally like keeping track of their conversation, like looking down into the room.
I forgot what it was where they turn off the television. I think it is them, and then it immediately cuts. Oh no, that was Futurama. It was so great. They're doing All My Circuits, and so like at a certain point, Bender walks in, and his antenna is messing with the actual visibility.
One of the early episodes.
Yeah, and so he like walks in, and of course the cable cuts out, and then of course when it comes back on, he goes, well, where I left off was like he's legit just doing it for the three in the room, the 4 people in the room. So he's like, the guy from All My Circuits is like, as I was saying, as soon as the TV turns back on, because Bender walks out of the room. It's the best thing ever.
That's great. It's like they're breaking the fourth wall on the TV show.
It's the best, yeah.
I love that we get to the Jan Michael Vincent releasing in January.
In January. And he's like, Jan Michael Vincent is one of, what is it, like 4,000?
Like
yeah, yeah. And then it just gets more ridiculous over the course of the trailer.
The judge is like, I refuse to sign the litigation that allows more than 8 Jan Michael Vincents in a particular fucking zone or whatever.
I wonder what it would take for them to literally do like I don't know if you ever get to see Eli Roth did like a bunch of like short like fake films to open up, I think, for one of the 3 movies he did, and one of them was like a whole Thanksgiving dinner haunted, and it was just hilarious. And it was one of those like everybody was like, this needs to be a real movie, I think he made it into like a digital short or something.
That's great.
So I would love for them to do like more digital shorts with like these like ridiculous like Tiny Mouth going around and harassing people.
I love that whenever at the end of Dog World they were like, 11 minutes at a time.
Yeah,
it could work.
It could work. Yeah, like they're just throwing
lazily pitching ideas to anybody who will fucking listen on their TV show.
That's the best. I mean, I love that the lack of I mean, it really makes me think of like the way we built this. It's like if it's there, it's there. If it's not, we're still gonna roll with it because it just makes for good content.
Flipping and flopping our way through this shit. I love that we get the dude who steals everything.
Yeah,
and like the guy's like, you're taking my stapler. And he fucking chloroforms him and steals him.
Yeah, and then he goes into his little special room where no one...
I'm in my quiet safe room where all the people we stole stuff from can't get to us.
Yeah.
Like, so fucking straightforward. It's
just
so
the
great.
Creepiest, man. It's just amazing.
There's what else happened? There were so many
I love Tiny. I do love Tiny, the tiny guy, the Tiny Hole, Tiny Foods.
Oh,
and
come eat some food, you fucking bitch.
yeah, that's what I was like about to say. It's like, I'm just kidding.
Food, you fucking piece of shit.
He's like, fucking piece of shit. Oh, I'm just kidding.
And he's like
just
leaning
kidding.
out of the up and out of the bathroom stall,
watching
like,
the guy
fucking with the guy who's pissing.
Yeah, like literally just beating up on a guy verbally that's just taking a piss in his establishment.
Won't get stuck in your lips. Just
he's
the most
like,
ridiculous shit.
we got little hams, and little turkeys, little people,
little fried eggs.
Little fried eggs.
There's the comedian with the ad-lib songs.
Yeah, and it's just basically him like saying what the person does.
Has literally.
I'm a tax attorney.
Forget about religion. Forget about Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
has nothing to do with what that guy does at all. And even the guy's like, "Wow, how does he do it?" And he kicks him out. He's like, "Yo, fucking security!"
And he beats the shit out of him. On top of that, he's like, but why? And he's like, the guy just like knocks him in the jaw for asking why.
I think one of my favorite bits in the whole thing is Michael and Pikel.
Oh, Michael and Pikel, and he's like, I know Summer asked like kind of a really funny thing. She's like asking about the sensibility of one of the things, and Morty goes on a tirade because a girl didn't call him back.
That's whenever Octopus Man.
Yeah, Octopus
Man steps out of the car and just murders some people, and Summer's like, yeah, does all interdimensional cable allow juvenile violence? And fucking Morty's like, bruh, species that communicate through the filter of your sensibilities
it's like what's wrong with like us trying to placate to your sensibilities is what's going to be the downside of
civilization. He literally says that species that communicate through the filter of your sensibilities are less evolved than species that simply communicate.
It's the best, man.
It's great. I mean, it definitely is like shitting on cancel culture for sure.
But then he comes out of it and he's still in Sully.
Well, Rick is even like, oh, geez, Kimberly didn't text you or whatever. It's some movement we've never heard.
Yeah,
never hear
again. Yeah, and then it's like you were saying that as this is going on, they're talking about the what was it? It was Michael and Pikel, and Michael and Pikel, of course, are like there. You can see a tug and war back and forth, and one is doing the news. And the other one is doing a food cooking show.
Yeah,
just
he's like chopping up an eggplant.
And then they start tug of warring, and so of course he's like they wanted you, not old Pikel.
They probably had Michael. They probably had that name planned. They saw me and they're like, oh well, fuck it. I guess we're just gonna call him Pikel. I love how Summer's like, why would they ever do it this way? And Rick's like, you have any idea how much I must save on production? Like,
always, just trying to get the last time out. He's just a businessman. He's savvy.
I mean, this is the same guy who runs fucking Anatomy Park, a literal amusement park inside of someone else's body.
He runs, he spitefully runs a store just to get at the devil.
It's great. Oh, man, the fact that the Rick can, like, go blow for blow with the devil is, like, man, what a legend.
What's funny is that he was willing to open up a store to spite the devil, and you're willing to open up the store just to get a comfortable shopping experience.
Bruh, so the people who are listening to this are going to be a little disconnected from that because they didn't just go over from SUYL. We just recorded an SUYL, and I went on a whole goddamn tirade during SUYL about how shitty the supermarkets are these days.
Yeah.
Now, I can't wait for smaller supermarkets to come in and, like, fill the void, right? Like, I feel like every city where you can only shop at a major supermarket deserves a smaller grocer, right? Like a small,
an intimate,
comfortable place to do your grocery shopping. Because I got a lot of anxiety and I ain't trying to catch a murder charge. It's just as simple as I can fucking be about it, guys. I'm crazy. I don't need to be standing in line for a half hour or getting bumped into by old ladies. I need somewhere that caters to me, man. HEB ain't doing it, bro. The Walmart ain't doing it. They don't give a fuck. They're like, fuck you. You suck.
So we need to make a commercial for your establishment that's going to be produced through Monkey Mouth.
That sounds great, man. If I can just like put up the flag and say, hey, someone come to my city and make a fucking grocery store so that I can shop there, and someone actually comes and does it, God, I'll suck your fucking dick. I'll lick your taint, bro. Like, what's up? Come give me, like, listen, look up Diaz Market in Austin, Texas. I want that in every city. Any place where there's like literally no competition for groceries outside of like the 2 major supermarket chains that have moved into the city. They need a Diaz Market. Period.
Okay, so on that tangent, we were talking about...
I actually won't shop at Diaz anymore because they refused me service over that mask one time. Right, whenever the CDC started saying you don't need a mask. And then people were just fucking clinging on to the idea because they didn't want to admit they were wrong the whole time. I went in and they were like, we won't serve you unless you have a mask. And I was like, all right, cool. Never coming back. I never went back. Like, it's literally that simple. Like, it's such an easy way to lose someone's business. Like, I will absolutely just go shop somewhere where they'll serve me how I want to be served. But so, even Diaz Market I haven't had perfect experiences with. But still, the bottom line is I would literally rather go deal with a small, like somewhere between like a grocery store and like a Walgreens and a gas station. Like small, convenient.
You just, like I said, you want a Mexican market that, or like a, what is that? Like a pub sub kind of, or like, I think they have them in like Florida. They're like really small.
I ain't been to Florida.
I know, they're like really small, kind of like smaller groceries.
I think that Whole Foods tried to do something like a Whole Foods 365 or something where it's supposed to be like a small, quaint little shopping experience, but it's still just so fucking corporatized that it never really worked. But like, you know, if one of us went and started a grocery store in Taylor, it would fucking crush. Like, I guarantee, bro, I could sell potatoes till the fucking cows comes home. Literally, I know that people like my dad would go shop with me. And, like, anybody like me, anybody who's got anxiety, anybody who's trying to avoid the ridiculousness of the grocery store would go
What would be
shop.
kind of cool is if, like, since you own your own grocery store, it's like 12 people at a time can only shop.
I don't own my own grocery store.
No, I'm saying,
the supermarkets are going to keep serving me inappropriately, and I'm going to start my own fucking I'm going to start my own.
I'm just saying, like, at any given point, you could just be like, okay, we're only allowing 12 people in this grocery store at any given time.
It's small. It's not even meant to serve a whole bunch of people. Yeah. It's meant to be fucking nice. You come in and get your shit and enjoy yourself, bro. When did it become like an abstract idea that you're supposed to enjoy yourself out in the fucking world? Like, no, man, you're just dealing with corporations that are like going to serve you as minimally as they possibly can so that they can rake in their profit.
Well, I mean, think about
Fuck that.
How far we've come from things looking relatively inviting, and then things looking like a McDonald's from 2008.
That's just corporate people trying to be like, this is how we make our money for show. Like, you gotta fit within the box. It's like whenever they painted over the murals in Austin because a private equity firm came and bought a locally owned gas station that had been there for forever, and they had these big dank murals put up on the side. And
that hurts.
They fucking painted over that shit with gray. Bro, they took a Jimi Hendrix, Willie Nelson, like all these dope-ass artists that they had made this mural of.
That hurts,
they painted over it with gray. And I remember in college, bro, having to argue with people about how socialism will never work because there's not, like, room for competition and innovation, and, like, no one's going to go out and, like, do the creative, fun stuff that's going to lead to real profit. And literally, the exact thing that they were telling me was going to happen if we evolved to a more socialist economic state is happening under capitalism. It's just on the other end of the spectrum. It's so whitewashed that the fucking corporate design for profit doesn't include murals on the side of the building, and therefore it can't exist.
Well, it's also homogenized, right? So, like, in the same breath as you're talking about corporates doing what is essentially pushing their way in, that's the same thing as gentrification. It's just done on a smaller level. Gentrification is corporatism through basically moving anything that doesn't coexist with the WASP mentality.
Well, bro, the
its
thing
color and
the thing that kicks in gentrification is the moving in of private equity. They come in and they buy swaths of land, and they like take what was low income housing and they put up fucking big fancy.
Man, don't
the lofts at Saltillo. You know what I'm saying? And it went from being like a project to like now it's like the fucking big fancy shit.
Well, I mean, to the point where so many people weren't making money that it was just conducive to go to Florida, and now it's influx with so much money that so many things are going to change. I know that like the world's
my ass finna move to Costa Rica, bro. Costa Rica's calling my name, bro. It's like living in the roaring 20s, bro. You get a fucking dank ass meal for like $4. Know what I'm talking about? You get a set of dentures for like $4,000, bro. Like, shit's like reasonable over there. Know what I'm talking about? It's like relatively safe. There's like oceans and mountains and forests and like sweet people.
You're just gonna be like a mountain man living there. There's gonna be tales of
Bro, have you seen how silverbacks live? They just like make big nests of leaves. They hang out and eat fruit. It's gonna be neat.
You're gonna be an urban legend in Costa
find
Rica.
me in the Costa Rican forest eating a mango.
There's tale of a white monkey out here, a white ape man.
He walks upright.
He moves too and he
fast.
eats all of our fish. Like, stop leaving fish out and delicious fruit for the white monkey or the white ape man.
I would love to go be a mountain man in Costa Rica. I could avoid the supermarket. God, it sounds great.
That's just like going through all that trouble. I'm gonna avoid the supermarket. What you doing? I'm moving to Costa Rica. I'm gonna be a mythical creature.
I'm telling you right now, I'm actively considering trying to open up a grocery store in my local city so that I can avoid the supermarket. So, like, I honestly think that it would be less expensive and easier to just go to Costa Rica, walk into the forest, and survive. Like, just... If I'm shooting real fucking straight, bro, there's plenty of fruit on the ground, man. It's going to be fine. But we've digressed real hard, man.
It's so hard. I think we're in another time zone, another universe, some other channel on Interdimensional cable.
So we talked about Michael and Pikel. We got to see how they make a plumbus, but they didn't explain what a plumbus does.
Yeah, and it was like we removed the sleeve to only to recollect it for later use.
I like how one guy's whole job is to walk up and spit on the plumbus.
Yeah, he like tickles it and spits on it. I think like he rubs the plumbus and then spits on it.
Fucking gross. The personal space guy, God damn it, the personal space guy is fucking wonderful. And I love how whenever he's doing the 2, get in my personal space. 3. You know, and there's one guy in the lobby. He's like a fish person in the very back, and he's like fist pumping with him as he does it every time. Like, everybody else is looking at it confused. There's one guy who just gets it.
Yeah,
he's like, wow, this is great.
And I think like you were really loving that the fact when he's just like he's over everything. He doesn't even he wants personal space from his skin. All you hear is uttering out of Rick's mouth is like, what does he say, like dumbass?
Oh, what a fucking asshole. Yeah, everybody else is like shocked, and Rick's just like, what an asshole. Yeah.
He literally rips off his own skin. He's done with it. And then there's even there's still a next episode, so who knows what's going to happen next, because it's like stay tuned for
tune in next week.
For personal space. But up next is like basically a Downton Abbey like they've made fun of it on several things. Like I think that it's like the Dukes of Rottenbury on like a Family Guy or something. It's like the Kensington something or others on some other cartoon. You know, just them taking the piss out of these like royal television shows from like PBS and Masterpiece Theater.
Like they're picking fun at Dukes of Hazzard type shit.
Yeah, but instead it's like, don't think of it as Dukes of Hazzard. Think of it as like the most classiest television show.
Yeah. They're just taking the fucking wind out of anything.
Exactly.
I mean, like Rick said, whenever he came back from being Tiny Rick, regular Rick, back ruining everything. You think he's not here to ruin everything? You're tripping.
Exactly.
I love that there was those weird like alien Olympics. The
gobble, and then they like measuring the splats.
Yeah, I mean they basically do like a long jump.
Yeah,
right? Like he sprints, gets to a certain point, and he goes to leap over a pit, but then halfway through the pit there's a fucking brick wall.
Yeah,
and he explodes midair, and they're like measuring like the dimensions of his splatter pattern.
And I think like the little ones feed off of the big ones.
Well, that happens in the whenever Jerry's in Jerry Baree and Jerry goes to leave. He runs into a homeless Gobblegob, and he refuses to give the Gobblegob money, and the Gobblegob gets upset and explodes.
Just explodes, yeah.
And the little Gobblegobs run up and like scoop the fucking goo off of Jerry and just start drinking it.
Yeah.
So
they're cannibalistic. They don't live too long.
I don't think there's any coherence to be found with the Gobblegobs.
Yeah.
I think that they're literally just coming up with whatever the fuck they want for those guys on the fly. And we already talked about Octopus Man. He was actually like the last. He was bitten by an octopus, and he's here to save the trouble from the good people. And he fucking just stabs the fuck out of somebody, and that's whenever Summer talks shit about it, relying on juvenile violence, and Morty goes on his fucking tirade.
Yeah, he goes on.
Rick shits on him for not getting any pussy. And so while all this shit is happening on interdimensional cable, Jerry's having the adventure of a lifetime.
Yeah, he's definitely like in it right now. He's in deep because
so there's a character named Shrimply Pipples,
and he's basically going to revolutionize everything. He's gonna
dictate he's gonna directly influence the fate of hundreds of
millions of people,
of sentient beings' lives.
Yeah,
and basically they need Jerry's dick, right? Like the slight asymmetry of the balls, and like the actual dick is gonna serve as something, and like
it's all gonna help his heart is what I think it is, right?
It's an alien heart.
Yeah, it's an alien heart.
Human dick and testicles is an alien heart.
Yes,
and they're like, bro, we're gonna use yours, and it's gonna like help improve the lives of hundreds of billions of people. And Jerry's like getting prepped for surgery.
Yeah.
And like as the dude's like drawing on his dick, explaining like where we're gonna cut you.
Yeah, basically what they're gonna leave behind so that they can basically add the prosthetic.
Yeah.
And now Beth is absolutely obsessed with these prosthetics. Like she wants. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So Jerry like agrees, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of hastily, because there's like everyone at his tables like, these 8 men don't know what the fuck is up. You know, they're a small, undeveloped.
Yeah.
planet.
Oh yeah. He just shits all. Like this like wizard just basically comes out of the sliding doors, being like guarded by people with no real reference to who he is, but just the fact that he's lived among us, and that we not only we like as men we mock the size of it, big or small.
Yeah, it's funny to say it's big. It's funny to say it's small. I never saw it not get a laugh.
Yeah.
And that's where Jerry's like, fucking hold up, I'm gonna do it, and y'all tell Shrimply Pipples that Jerry from Earth didn't hesitate. Right?
Yeah.
And he winds up in the surgery prep room, and he winds up having this like realization, like, oh my god, they're about to butcher my penis.
They're just gonna take it off, and like there's only gonna be a flap left.
And so he tries to like call Beth in. So
he's
Beth will like he's assuming that Beth is gonna be preferential to having an intact husband.
Yeah.
And when she gets there, she's like, what? Y'all can't do this. And then she starts looking at the prosthetics, and she's like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, like,
and she doesn't outright say that she wants Jerry to. She would rather have Jerry have a prosthetic. She just goes through this like word game with Jerry.
She basically like ties him match for match. Like he's like, "Well, I thought you wouldn't. You know, you would want to be involved." And she's like, "Well, I would assume that you could basically think of this on your own." And he's like,
she's like, "How could I get in the way of you?"
To help hundreds of billions of people. Just like each.
Like what? He's like, "What type of man would I be if I said no to helping hundreds of billions of people?"
Yeah.
She's like, "What type of wife would I be if I said no to you helping hundreds of billions of people?"
So
basically.
just like calling him out hard
if
for.
You can't say no, then I can't say no.
And it only benefits her not to say no. You know, I mean, for her to say.
She's about to get a mecha penis, bro. She's gassed up right now. They leave Jerry to jack off one last time.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine you want to use your dick one last time, basically. And
one hurrah,
the
one
doctor
for the road.
leaves him at the fucking computer, and the porn that's on the computer is completely unrecognizable.
Yeah, it's all alien porn. And he goes,
it literally looks
it's
like
regular.
It looks like cell stuff happening.
Yeah, he's like, this is a alien computer with alien internet that runs alien porn. Or does he say like this is hospital internet? And then he says all of it's alien. He goes, but the towel is actually alien to this planet because I got it from another planet.
Yeah, it's like all this is alien to you, but that towel's alien to me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's the best. He's like, and you can also use the alien towel, which is in fact alien to me.
I love that. So Jerry winds up rummaging through, violating all the HIPAA violations.
Yeah, just going and the doctor. Knowing it, but just giving like
I trust you to keep your activities on my computer strictly pornographic.
Yeah.
If Jerry does not honor that,
no,
Jerry
he doesn't.
Looks at her and he basically realizes.
I think he's like they knocks on the door to make sure he's like not breaking HIPAA laws, and he's just masturbating in here, and it's like
so awkward. And so Jerry basically realizes that Shrimply Pipples is
addicted to heroin.
Wait, I mean, he says addicted, but
really
he's like he's like dependent.
He's
right?
not even dependent. Like it's part. Well, I guess he is dependent. He's as dependent as we are to just natural oxygen.
Yeah, it's like exactly. It's his version of oxygen.
Yeah.
So Jerry winds up going out. They're having like a big press conference. Right?
Yeah,
all the aliens. They're having a big press conference saying, "Congratulations, we're going to save Skrilly Pipple's life. Here's Jerry, the Earthman, is going to donate his dick and balls to save his life." And that's whenever Jerry's like, basically tries to throw Skrilly Pipples under the bus.
He's like saying, "Oh, he was such a good man from his march on whatever planet this is, and his stance against this." And then he goes, "And the fact that he did heroin."
Oh, it's like in his ongoing
he's just heroin addicted to hair defense. Yeah, and then some person immediately reads the vibe of him basically calling him out for that.
It's like you do realize that Skrilly Pipple's home planet's atmosphere is 10% heroin. He'll literally die if he doesn't get it. And then someone goes on, his planet got destroyed by like Vorkin death squads or whatever. And someone's like, this guy's trying to get out and giving out his penis.
And he's just like, he's trying to tell them that he's still a good person, even though he doesn't want to do this.
Everyone basically hates him, though.
He's done now. He's blacklisted from this planet.
And so Jerry decides that the best way for him to get people to like him
is to basically for him to give up his penis, even though there was a contingency plan to not need his penis.
Well, so there wasn't a contingency plan. What happened is that word of Jerry's cowardice spread across the galaxy, and everyone chipped in cash to get Skrilly Pipples a brand new synthetic heart that's going to outperform Jerry's pathetic
penis. Yeah. And that was always an option, is what he said, right?
Well, it's like, if that was an option the whole time, you guys suck.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're the ones who suck. But it wasn't an option the whole time. They didn't have the funding.
Only after he basically
only after
cowardness.
Everyone united behind hating Jerry, they have the cash to actually take care of Skrilly.
He's revolutionary. He's it's his best. It's better than got apples.
Low key, he definitely like catalyzed some good movement out there in the world by being a coward. But he literally like busts into the surgery room of Skrilly Pipples and is like,
he's holding this what looks to be
it looks like a gun, right?
Yeah.
He's like holding the room hostage. He's like, you guys are gonna put my dick in his chest. They're like, it doesn't work that way. He's like, you're gonna make it work that way.
Yeah, and he just all he wants. The saddest thing is all he wants is for people to like him. He's just dying for that.
I'm a good person.
Yeah, that good. Yeah,
I'm a good person.
And so from there, I think like they were like they called. I think Beth kind of like, oh no. So it's getting filmed.
Yeah,
it's getting recorded because of the press conference.
Yeah, flipping through interdimensional cable, and they flip to a channel that is the channel that's live broadcasting the hostage situation that Jerry's created in the hospital that they're in. And they're like, it has to be from another dimension, right? And Rick's like, I
don't know. Like, you're bothering my interdimensional cable right now. Just let's see how it plays out.
Infinite Jerry's. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And
we just go to Jamboree and mix up another tag.
Go take one of the ones that got left.
Yeah.
The ones in the basement. It's fine. But he tries to like go and force them, and he gets shot like 50 times.
I mean, he just gets wrecked. I mean,
like
holes every
Swiss cheese. He's
just like done, and
he wakes up. He wakes up. Well, first off, like Rick and Morty are like in the fucking waiting room, and Beth and Summer are like witness this all go down. So they're like, ah.
Yeah.
And the next thing that happens is Jerry wakes up to the final interdimensional cable bit, which is the butthole ice cream.
Yeah, butthole ice cream, yeah.
Where it's just fucking farting out the nastiest fucking ice
just
cream.
Just anuses with like chocolate and vanilla, and I think like there was some other...
It's shit that looks like shit is the bottom line.
Yeah.
And so basically, they wrap it up, put a bow on it. Basically, they say that it was like getting a splinter removed because he's in a super sophisticated alien hospital, which gives me hope for Dr. Glibglob.
Yeah, right.
Because he only got shot once.
Yeah.
So if Jerry can get shot 50 times and live, I'd imagine that Dr. Glibglob can get shot once and survive.
But it was also...
Presumably.
It was also the...
It was like a special Rick tech that got him too. It's not just like a normal gun, so it might be impossible to operate on.
He's a snake now.
Listen, Glib Glob was a nice dude right off the cuff, so I'm going to assume that Dr. Glib Glob made it.
He's a snake now. You know?
It's an industry secret. It's particle beam on the wrist, snake holster on the ankle. But so basically Jerry determines that like it's best for him to not give a shit what everybody thinks about him, and that he wants to go to the zoo with his family. And
they just tear into his ass on that. Like,
apart for that.
What is wrong with you? Nobody wants to go to the zoo. Like, what is your problem? Like, he just wants to like get the family together and have this like moment, and they just immediately just torpedo it.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the scene whenever Beth was dealing with Cyborg family, and Morty had Cyborg Morty had his like awakening. It's like, I want to run in the street.
Oh yeah. And it's like whenever they put the consciousness into like blank Morty.
You're gonna be my toaster now.
Yeah.
But whenever Morty gets back, Beth is like, "Do you want to go run on the stream?" And Morty's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, like, what are you talking about?
I think I have scurvy. I got other shit going on. And it's just funny how like every time that like
there's
Jerry
a break,
or Beth have a revelatory experience, they're immediately snapped back into the shitty reality that they're trying. Wasn't
that the great thing of the Meeseeks made her an actualized woman, only to come back and have to pull Jerry into a well-rounded golf game?
The fucking Meeseeks episode is such chaos. God, I love that episode so much. I wish they would do more. I think there's only like 2 other times we've ever seen the Meeseeks, right? Or 3, right? There's once where we see a Meeseeks in an arcade helping a stranger.
Yeah.
We see the Kirkland brand,
which is the best. I wanted to say it, but yeah, I love the Kirkland. It's red and it's got stubble and it smokes and doesn't
on that
really.
Same episode, that's whenever Morty hits the box a bunch and it says to shield me from the law.
Oh yeah.
But so really, I mean, so they've come up a few times. I can't sit here and say that they haven't revisited the Meeseeks and they haven't like made it a thing, but like, bruh, I need more Meeseeks. I need a whole other Meeseeks episode. Like, I want to see a whole episode of what happens whenever the Kirkland brand Meeseeks guys have fucking trouble.
I just love when he's like, your words are old and senile like you. He just goes off on the guy who's been there the longest. It's your failures that have brought me into this world.
Yeah, your failures are your own, old man. Your failures are your own, old man.
That's the best thing ever said, you know?
On that note, if you're listening to this and you're failing, your failures are your own, old man.
Old man.
Portal Boys Be Podcast, and it's been a fun episode.
This is a great episode. I loved it.
Probably a little short compared to the other episodes, but it's an interdimensional cable episode.
And we're celebrating, man. This is us celebrating.
Yeah.
Man.
So if you didn't watch SUIL, which I'm going to assume that you're on the Portal Boys Island right now. We've been doing this for about a year, and it's really only started to pick up here recently whenever we got into our new studio. The old studio got destroyed by a tornado, and we were like recording on our phones, and like we've just now really started to upgrade things. And the first video that we put out, that was like a product we were really proud of.
Yeah, we were just so excited about it. It came in good. We had Craig Tucker on there from
on the Shut Up You'll Listen.
On the Shut Up You'll Listen.
Who's like a local mixed martial artist.
And he just, everyone seems to, without a doubt, this is just a genuine guy. So he has a lot of love, and he just, it just transcended
from
a small town, and it just transcended through us getting 100 views on one of what is my favorite, will forever be one of my favorite episodes.
I mean, the bottom line is, it's the first real video that we've ever produced and put out, and it got 100 views in 10 days. Might not sound like a lot to anybody out there who's like killing it in the media space, but we haven't really done any paid for advertising or anything. Like, man, getting 100 views is straight up like
word of mouth.
The people in our social circle giving a shit.
Yeah.
And so we've been up here drinking, having a good time. So if the content was a little off today, we were having a good time.
Yeah, we're having a good time, man.
The better time I'm having, the more I like producing it, and I do this to enjoy myself. So if you don't like the content, man, don't be ugly about it. Just don't listen. It's fine.
Y'all guys have a good night.
Peace, guys. Portal Boys Be Podcasting.
Monkey mouth. Monkey mouth. Monkey mouth.